So welcome to Circling Night, and some of you may have already experienced circling, but for the ones that don't, this is an evening where we get the opportunity to really be present with what is and be in relationship with each other and be curious about what that means, what that brings in us as feelings, thoughts, and just be curious about that experience and being real with another human being. So I'm going to invite you, and we're going to start with a meditation, a short tuning in. So get yourself comfortable and let's close our eyes and take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, kind of feel the butt, your butt cheeks on the chair. And take another deep breath in. And just notice your breath, notice your body starting from your head all the way down, like shoulders to your chest, to your belly, to your legs, to your feet. And just notice anything that's present for you. What does it mean to be you in this moment? What does it mean to be with the people around you? And take another deep breath in. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes and just let what's outside come to you. No efforting and seeing. And you can just go ahead and look around, make contact with other people. And tonight we're going to circle and focus all our attention to Preston here. Hi, Preston.
Hi.
Is there anything that you want out of the circling for you? Anything that's present?
There's a lot present for me right now. And it's been difficult to trust that talking to anybody is going to help me. So I've just been on this path of learning to just kind of be there for myself, because I've gone through this trial and error of trusting so many different people that I think I'm being conditioned to not trust those who want to help me.
I feel a lot of tenderness hearing you say that.
I'm in this place in my life where I'm having to make some pretty concrete choices and be okay with whatever comes. I mean, I can only control the way I react to the world, and that's been a big thing for me recently. But I'm not sure where my boundaries are with other people, with relationships, with what do I deserve. And I just know that I'm extremely determined to do the right thing and to just to be loving as I possibly can, without being needy or clingy or unattractive or repulsive. And it's not even that I have a fear of those things. It's just I can't seem to escape failure. Yeah.
Tell me more about that. You can't seem to escape failure. Failure about what?
I guess it's my own internal feelings. I've always desired to be trusted, loved, seen, and I guess right now in my life I don't really feel like there's really anybody there for me the way I want them to be there for me. And I know I can't blame other people, but that puts me in a place of like, all right, well, it's just me. How do I make myself feel good?
So what I'm hearing you say is that you're wanting to be, you're wanting to trust, you're wanting to have people in your life, and you right now your experience is that you don't have people that you
I don't feel
that you can trust the way you want to.
I don't feel that I can. It's even interesting just sitting here and circling and being in the presence of all this. It's like it's been a journey of trust. You know, 2 years ago I would have looked at something like this and been like, this is crazy witchcraft, hocus pocus. Like, why am I talking to you? Yet here I am, hoping that I learn something and I get something special out of it. And I haven't felt that way fully yet. I feel like I am learning, but learning through struggle, through pain, through disappointment. And I'm starting to question whether that's healthy for me.
The struggle and the pain,
Yeah.
the way you're going about it, or the way that you're experiencing it?
Both. Yeah. On one hand, the way I'm going about it is, I don't know if I'm trying too hard to make other people happy or be seen by other people. I mean, there's particular people in my life that I want to be seen by, people that I think love me, and they're nowhere in sight.
When you said that you have people in your life you want to be seen by, I felt like some ache in my heart.
And on the other end, I judge that part of me, and I go, like, who am I to ask anything from anybody? Like, there's something special about being self-sufficient and not depending on other people and needing anything from someone, because I am the creator of my reality.
Something special.
Yeah, something special. God, it's a mixture of exhaustion, of wanting to improve myself, and a little bit of pride for doing it. But it feels so lonely and confusing.
You mean in this process or in this journey to improve yourself?
This journey, yeah. Because in lots of ways I look at how maybe I was happier before I got into opening myself to spirituality and confronting my demons and my patterns.
The ignorance bliss.
The ignorance is bliss, yeah. I grew up with a financially stable family. I had parents that pretty much could afford to put me in any school I wanted to. And I never really experienced any problems with them. When I got into a relationship that they didn't necessarily agree with, that all went away very quick. And I think it was the first time that I loved something, but it was judged as wrong. And I didn't know how to react to that. And I feel like to this day I'm still suffering from the not being ready for that impact from my parents. Even though I feel like I've apologized 1,000 times, I've confessed my sins 1,000 times,
I feel like a sense of protection, like I want to wait, no, he can love who he wants to. And I feel also sadness for that experience. What does it mean to you to trust other people? What does it look like? What does it feel like?
There's a certain sense that I can be myself. It's that feeling of when you're with a friend or an intimate partner, like, you don't have to contort yourself, you don't have to walk around eggshells, and it won't be judged, or it won't trigger the other person. It's freedom, it's being alive, joyful.
Mm.
I guess just talking about it, it's making me think that I don't really feel like I'm free to be myself. Although all I'm doing is chasing the very things that bring me to a more centered version of myself. So it's kind of exhausting. But I'm still here.
How are you feeling right now about what happened with your family's reaction?
Not good, because there are things happening right now that is making me doubt ever resisting their advice. It's like this coldness of I took a leap of faith of believing in love, trusting that, going after something that I believe was right for me. And just supporting that feeling was more righteous than anything my parents could identify in me.
Mm.
But after so much curiosity, so much wanting to grow and learn and be seen, to now feel like there's no one there for me, not even my family, that's brutal. So it's either I make a choice on my own, I agree with my family's judgments, and I know I don't have to, but I don't know.
What happens if you agree with your family judgments?
It would just mean that everything I've done so far was for nothing, or at least it has a taste of that. It makes me doubt in believing in something. It makes me doubt in love. It reminds me of the time where I thought that maybe I would just be happier dying alone. Because I didn't feel understood growing up. I had friends, compassionate people who liked me, but I never felt understood, desired, intimate. Just like a thing. Pretty picture.
And I'm hearing that it's really important for you to have that in your life, your people in your corner who really see you, and especially your family.
Yeah. But now it's feeling like my family does see me. But I'm just not proud of how they go about seeing me. The voice of oh, this isn't who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's no, I know who I am. But then when I go about being who I want to be, I guess the results I'm going after don't really pan out. So that's where it gets confusing. It's like, well, I chose to, deny what the two very loving people who brought me into this world, chose to deny their advice and start to create my own desires and guidance. And when that failed, I just found myself in this place like, what? This sucks. Yeah, I'm in a place right now where I don't think anybody understands what's really going on with me. And it's because I don't really, after everything that's happened, I don't really feel like I want that. There was a time where people had compassion for me and only led to more confusion, more judgment, more pain, and suffering.
How does it feel for you to be you in this moment right now, talking about this? What's that deep sigh about?
The deep sigh is just being tired. When I usually don't get tired. I don't feel like I'm not running a mile. I'm not jumping off a cliff every day. It's funny, I finally understand what heartbreak feels like, but I'm not sure I want to. I'm not sure I want to feel that. I guess I can see that, what it teaches us, but...
What lets you know? How do you understand?
I used to find myself, when I was younger, thinking I'm so emotionally stable. There's nothing in this world that can rock my boat. I'll always find joy in things. I'll always connect to people. I was always good with connecting people on a social level. So then when I saw people, like, especially, men and women struggling with intimate relationships or friendships or family drama, I used to laugh. That's, get out of that. That's a waste of time. There's so many more important things in the world to focus about. Don't let your heart be broken. What are you, immature? I had a judgment about that. But now I'm in their position. And it humbles me so much. And I'm just sitting here wow. I'm almost not proud of how I see myself. I'm trying to find the empowering meaning behind it all.
Actually, I'm sorry, we actually are out of time, but
Yeah.
take a minute and just give a summary of what you're getting about what he's going through so far.
Yeah. What I'm getting about what you're going through is that there is a way that you used to be in this empowered place, and this you had a certain idea of your experience, and now it's a different kind of experience that you used to see in other people, and you want to trust that and be trusted and have people see you for, you want to be yourself in this, and also get some meaning out of what you're going through.
Yeah. I want to be seen for my actions. I don't want to be an archetype or a shadow or some kind of label that's predictable. I'm more than that.
Yeah. Thank you, Preston.
Thank you.
You're a beautiful man.
Thank you. You are too.
Thank you. Would you like to continue where you left off? Would you like a meditation to start?
I don't need a meditation.
Would you like to continue where you left off? Talk about
Everything I'm talking about is related to what I'm talking about, so I guess I continue talking about what I was talking about. Yeah.
I felt so much power from you. And I felt a very complicated history and present. And it is so it's this kind of like rough feeling within when we have parents and relatives that have a certain way and being that they want us to be.
Yeah.
I almost feel some tiger or some lion spirit within you bursting through that into the world.
I'm happy to hear you say that, because there is a lion and a tiger in here, and I don't think it's allowed to be let out, but man, if it could, I think I would like to change the world with that energy.
Why is it not allowed?
That's a great question. It's not that it's not allowed. That's my perception.
Uh-huh.
It goes back to my lack of trust in things. I like to think that the world is telling me, the right people are telling me that energy is allowed. But that energy comes with some flaws and some rigidity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that energy might step on some toes, might take some risks.
Mm. Especially the toes of your family.
Yeah.
Mm. Earlier when you were bringing forth this vulnerability of talking to so many people about how you felt and just this desire to be gotten by people along the way and just not have been able to been fully gotten or to have been in a state of feeling like that you're able to move forward as your lion, as that spirit, without the rigidity that the stepping on the toes of family along the way. For me, I felt a slow, warm sensation through my face where my eyes are, and also through my heart and my chest, because I really, really felt so close to you at that moment. And when we were discussing all the things that are leading up to where you're at right now, and just the breakthrough, it just all feels so close. It feels so real. It feels so raw. Does what you, and then we brought up love as well in this. Where does that rest? What does that feel like? Love, is that love for family, love for partner, love for what is that love?
It's love for all, but to be more specific, because I do feel like this rising of a moment of being more specific, and what's going on with me is love with intimate partners.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I I would say that I was a nice guy, and that being nice didn't serve me. Made sense of like those metaphors, like nice guys finish last. And I was always so confused because I was always told I was handsome and charming.
Still are. Yeah.
But never really resulted in the relationships I wanted to create. And that was annoying. But now I'm reading a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Mm.
And I actually feel like I've mastered a lot of what's in that book, but the circumstances that I've chosen to be in are challenging me more than I could ever possibly imagine. And I think I'm aware of that choice that I'm making. There's sometimes I wake up and I go, why am I doing this? But I mean, I'm already past like the checkpoint. Like I'm already a new being with new insights. I feel like having a conversation with my old friends. Like they're just like flabbergasted when they hear me talk.
Mm.
Like I practically coach all my friends because of everything I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
But you asked me about love,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, it's reconnecting to that feeling that I felt when I met my soulmate.
Mm.
Or like when you, not to make it separate from how I feel, just like when that feeling when like you're really excited and you really feel like someone gets you, that's like the best feeling in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I feel like I've lost that. And I've been in acceptance of that for so long.
And I want to pause and see this lost feeling of being gotten. That for me that sends a kind of a pulse of unknowingness through me, and makes me like seek knowingness within me. So what, as you're going through this love and gottenness that are missing, is this related with family, with the soulmate? Where's the epicenter of
Soulmate.
the soulmate? And with that the first moments of the love, when you felt the rebirth of the soulmate connection, what does that feel like?
Euphoric, peaceful, boundless, epic,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
joyful.
Yeah. As you say all these words, I feel like the best feeling in the world. Just feels so good. Boundless. Wow. Epic. Euphoric. Such good. And then these feelings. What was the causes that led to not feeling that? There was an effect of family as well, of this you were going on a path that was, the family was like, this is not a normal path that we're used to.
Yeah.
And that also affected the soulmate, the relationship.
Yes.
Was there what was the feeling towards the family's effect on the relationship?
Shock. Surprise. I wasn't ready for it. I think that was the biggest issue of it happening.
And then what was their effect on it as well? So not only the effect they initially received from it, but their effect on it.
It was traumatic. It was destructive. At least that's how it seemed when I was in it. Not knowing what to do with it.
And that hindered the lion?
Well, no. I'm not really sure what hindered the lion yet.
So there's this exploration of what is hindering the lion.
I mean, I could break it down as simple as fear
Of what?
of rejection.
From?
Anyone. Family, loved ones, friends.
Uh-huh. Earlier, when you were discussing these friendships that you have, where you are now Preston Curley that is able to coach his friends with his life experience and help them.
Right.
And you were talking about it in a way that I would be like, if I was your mom or dad or grandparent or cousin, I would be hella proud to hear that. I'd be so proud.
It's a combination of things. It's a combination of pride from them and also thinking that I'm brainwashed. Thinking that I'm being manipulated.
So then there's a fear of their disapproval, familial disapproval.
Yeah. Of course.
And then...
But what's important that comes up for me as you say that is I embrace that disapproval. I said this is what I'm choosing to do. At first I wasn't sure. More like shaky on the fence about my choices.
Yeah.
But then I realized how important it was for me to honor what it is that I'm going for.
Uh-huh. Yeah, tell us about what the feeling is like when there's a lot of forces giving doubt and fear, and then for you to hone in on a true path forward.
Well, what's making things difficult is not seeing things come together, taking that path. I mean, it feels good to have, like, this is my choice. Like, I'm trusting this, regardless of the outcome, regardless of what happens. I'm letting go of certain safeties. I'm letting go of certain people because I believe that this is the right thing for me to do. And while that feels good, it feels very empowering. And it's good to know that I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
It is a bit scary to have that not be seen by anyone.
Yes. And now that brings me to a feeling of tribal importance. So I need to be seen by my tribe as somebody that is making great progress in different ways in order for me to really feel actualized. And who are the people that are being put to the side as you move forward on this true path? Who are those?
Almost everyone.
Who's everyone?
Family, old friends, people who supported me in the past. Unconditionally, they supported me. I guess you could say I look like somebody who's just lost in love. But that's my choice.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking a leap of faith. Because I can't have an outcome. I can't control how another person behaves.
Yeah.
But I can be honest, and the truth is that I know that I'm doing this from a good place.
Yeah. And that leap of faith, how does it make you feel? What does it call from within? What runs up?
The leap of faith is surprising because I'm surprised I'm doing any of this. I'm surprised that I'm involved in so many different communities and moving my body in ways that I never did, talking to people that I would have judged before, openly, vulnerably.
Uh-huh.
So it feels good to like know, like, oh, you did that. You didn't. So, I mean, there's that.
Is there a part of the lion that is now coming from walking down this true path that is shining more so, that the lion is also able to do alignment with the soul mate as well?
I'm the only one who sees it.
I am feeling it with you right now. I'm not directly there with you on a daily basis, but I'm feeling it with you right now. And it feels really good. I feel like I'm just scratching the surface, but that I'm with you. And that who you are and where you're coming from and what you're doing is so important to me.
I appreciate that. I feel good. That feels good hearing that.
And there's so much more to be able to talk about.
It's always more.
Always more. So.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Thank you. You're also amazing.
Love you.
Love you too, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's dope. All right.
Damn, that was such a tough place to end.
It's all right.
Yeah, but that's what you get for 20-minute circles. Yeah. Yeah, we gotta. Yeah, that means there's more to unpack. More time. So ahead.
All right. Ready for some feedback? Cool. Let's see. Sure. Overall things I noticed about you, Andrea. There's this gentleness that you bring to a circle and to somebody that, like, probably is going to be there whether you think about it or not.
Yeah.
There's also a playfulness that disarms people, and yet there's a confidence. There's like it's almost like it's a playful confidence. And I noticed, to me, you seem to have really great instincts, including what I think is really important and some people miss, is what I would call it noticing the obvious first. Like, don't disregard the obvious. Like, go to what's right there and speak to it, or ask a question about it or something like that. And I noticed you do that really well, and it's important. Great description and great description of circling and meditation. I loved how you started with when he shared where he was at. You started immediately with impact. That you felt tenderness. That is difficulty to trust. And what I wanted a little bit more in the beginning. After that was some paraphrasing. But maybe you missed the whole weekend, so you'll catch up with that stuff. But because he covered a lot of content in the beginning, like this difficulty to trust, difficulty to trust talking with anyone that it'll actually help, not sure of his boundaries or even what he deserves, and he's determined to do it right, but yet he can't escape failure. I mean, that's a lot of shit right there.
Yeah.
Right, so that would warrant some paraphrasing and like letting him hear back what he just said, because it was powerful, right? Because at that moment you said, "Tell me more," which was great, but you also
That was
need to catch
already
up
a
with
lot,
what was
yeah.
already said first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then let's see. You did paraphrase a little bit after that though, so it was fine. You talked about it. You heard him like wanting to be seen, and you felt the ache in your heart. I thought that was really good. So you had great sharing of impact. That you pretty much did consistently. So you're kind of getting that down already, and really good questions, very profound questions. So I think the thing I was wanting more of was like getting what he was feeling, which you could either do through paraphrasing what he would already shared, because he was pretty. He was laying out what he was feeling right in front of us, right? He was very open about that and in touch with it, right? So you could just paraphrase that, or you could also feel it a little bit and share what else you're getting about it.
Yeah, I realized that I would have wanted to do that more when you invited me to do that at the end.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. And there was something like, I had a curiosity, but like when you talked about he loved something, but his parents disagreed, and he spent some time like confessing his sins, not free to be himself. And I like that you kind of got that, and you said, yeah, I felt protective. And like I want you to be able to love whoever you want. Like that, like to me that was like grasping the obvious and like stating it, because that could have been missed. It wasn't exactly that obvious. It was he was couching it a little bit, but it was there. And then you asked what happens. What happens if you agreed with your family's judgments? That was really great, because that teased out a lot more after that. Yeah. So all in all, I thought it was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. And this is only like what, your second circle ever?
Oh, wow. That's super impressive, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
And anything, actually, let me do you first, and then
Yeah.
we'll ask you guys for. Hang on a sec.
Because you also did a great job with me as well. Yeah. Wow. And getting circled as well, yeah.
You got me to cry, so you win.
Oh.
So, Alan, the words that came to me for you were like, you're extremely validating. You're just like a validating human being. And a lot of positivity. Like that's almost like you're come from. Like this, yeah, positive view of life, or where it could lead, or something. And yet there's a way that you love, and you also, I don't know how to describe this, but I have the picture of like, you love, but you also have a sword in your hand. Not to defend against the person, but to like slice right through to the truth. Yeah. It's like you are the person who will say anything that other people won't have the courage to say or ask. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels so real with me. I mean, when you said that, I just burst out in laughter so hard and uncontrollably.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and the sword is meant for truth, to go where others won't wander. That we will wander down that path together, arm in arm.
Yeah.
Lovingly, caringly, together.
Yeah.
Let's get there.
Yeah. I love that you started out presencing that you felt both his power and his complicated history. You talked about the lion and the tiger. When you started there, I had a little bit of a twinge. Like it almost seemed like a leap or a jump ahead of where he was at, because it's in my standpoint, he was in a lot of pain. He talked about how traumatic this whole thing has been, and he's just like everything he said was like was kind of presencing like the awful lost feeling of like what to do, and like I don't have a choice because like this is me and I've made my choice, and yet I'm suffering because of it, and you went to the lion and the tiger, but yet somehow that leap worked. It's like it brought out a little bit of that part of him. So that's where it's like, you just got to trust your instincts. Like there's no wrong place to turn. But I also want to recognize that, and I'm going to come back to it again too, but like there's a part that got like maybe like you have it because of the positivity, you have a tendency to like go to like, okay, where's the lemonade in this, right? And yet he's still feeling like a lemon. Right, a lemon that everybody has left, so he's not even getting the company in that, right?
You're really identifying what was so correct in my positivity that you're identifying me correctly with that positive remark, because that is part of the lion and tiger call, but it's also because that's how I felt from the start, with identifying a complexity and a power at the same time. And then I just to follow up here by like you said, it's so interesting how these different ways of approaching a circle can work, but in the way that you were talking about the lemon, there's almost a I would like to know also how to walk down that path better about the lemon, and what would be the right ways to approach the lemon path and then get to the lemonade as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're recognizing there's this lion and this tiger in him, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. But I think from most of the circle, you sort of stayed on that side of it a little bit. So here, let me just kind of go through the rest, and I'll come back to that. But you touched on things for him, which I thought were important. Like he's talked about not wanting to step on toes, and you go, especially your families, right? And I loved you asking him like about his love. So that brought out like the first time with his soulmate, and then you were reflecting like those feelings back to him, like the boundlessness and some of the other things he said, epic, like that. Love that you asked about that. And then you asked about his parents' effect on that. So that was starting to come back to what was there.
A little bit of lemon.
Yeah. And he said it was traumatic. And then after he said it was traumatic, you went, so that hindered the lion. So it's like, good, but what about the traumatic?
What about the trauma?
Like that's a big word.
It is. Trauma's a huge word.
Trauma, it's like, whoa. So like the trauma is still there. You're still with it. You're still suffering, right? Like let's be with that.
Let's be with that. Yeah.
Right? And he even talked about how he's been abandoned by his family and abandoned by his friends for choosing love. I mean that's fucked up. Right? And so like let's be with that fucked upness. He's been alone in that. Like he's had maybe one person with him in that, or two, himself. But you kind of go, then you talked about being empowered, and you said, and that's not seen, or you said it's not seen by anyone, and you asked like, or not seen by anyone, and you said, who's anyone? I thought that was really good, because like I was imagining, he's still talking about his parents, but that's when it came out, like No, it's everybody. It's like his friends, it's everybody in his life.
But then
So-
there's still some coaching going on
so-
with the friends that they're still like, boom, like, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think what where you got with him was like I think he felt loved and cared for and appreciated by you, and you brought out that lion possibility in him, and you sort of did validate where he's at. The one thing I think I would have wanted more of is just to be with, like, for me, that what I'm left with is like, here's the sense I have, like, you're grieving the loss of your family and the loss of your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And you're wishing that wasn't true. Like, you're wishing they would get you. You're wishing they would support you.
Yeah. Also,
And-
I'm also
and-
grieving the loss of love too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Which love? Their love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intimate love as well. Like it's just all had an impact on everything. My whole sharing. If that makes sense.
The intimate love, are you talking about Belina or something?
Yeah.
So so in other words, it's affected, it's damaged.
It's damaged.
It's even damaged
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how big it was.
Yeah.
It like spread.
Yeah. So this has been like an atom bomb throughout his life.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's huge, and so
Yeah, and like what you did a good job is like what's been created out of that is like through that suffering is like wanting to grow on a level that most people don't even know about. Like the whole
Mhm.
Yeah.
personal growth, development thing. Like people get a job, people work out on their bodies, they eat healthy, they find a pattern. Whereas like me, I'm like, no, I'm gonna go directly to the soul because that's where like nothing made sense to me. It wasn't practical.
And what I'm getting also is that you're tired through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, you got to be you. You know, you got to circle the way that feeds you as well. I would just offer an alternate possibility of like practicing, like being with what's most true right now.
Mm.
Like the lion was there, but
Mhm.
what was most present was his suffering.
The lemon, the trauma,
Yeah,
that
so
was.
it's like,
The
well,
lemon.
let's be with that. Like,
Yeah.
like, let's feel that together. And once we get to the bottom of that, and it's there, and we're like, oh, all right, is there any more that hasn't been present? No. It's like, okay, that's what's there. And that might be it. That might take the whole time. Or if it doesn't, you say, all right, so we're here. Like, what does it look like from here?
That's it.
And then you see if he goes there. You know, like what? So what? Like
So
what now?
What now?
Yeah.
This is maybe part of my positivity also is somewhat analogous to coaching as well, rather than circling.
There's a tiny element of it.
Tiny element, yeah.
I mean, most of it's coming from love and care,
It's yeah.
and
yeah.
yet it's also
Hmm.
you're not completely in the full connection of where you could be with
Mhm.
him,
Yeah.
where he where he is.
It because the lemons are really important, absolutely really important. But I do think society spends way too much time on the lemons and way too little time on the lemonade, and so that's. But I also think at the same time, society doesn't spend enough time on the lemons as well. I also think that is true at the same time. But I think the path
I think they
to
don't
get
spend enough time of it in a real way.
Mm-hmm.
They spend time intellectualizing it and complaining about it, but not actually
not
being with
feeling it.
Mostly
and being
resisting
with
it.
yeah.
And avoiding it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's better ways for lemon, and then there's also hopefully not getting stuck in lemon. That's kind of what I guess it's almost a fear for someone else to be stuck in lemon.
Just the lemon thing.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
In
So this-
lemon.
I can
Swimming in lemonade.
swimming. Not you're not.
In my experience, when I was invited in the circle to be with the uncomfortable, like the lemon, and to be with what's uncomfortable and what feels hard. It's unpleasant in the moment, but it's so freeing right over the hump.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't take the time to sit enough in it
Yeah.
to go over.
Also, here was another analysis, because you're right. I also think here's another analysis. Preston, you can correct me how you actually feel about this, but this is how I felt. I felt that by your initial story and explanation of how you had not you had not felt like you were gotten by so many of the people that you had talked to me that meant that you had already went through the process of lemoning and lemoning and lemoning. I might be completely wrong, but I felt like it was time for lemonade.
What wasn't probably clear is what happened was a lot of these people I actually did perceive that they understood me, like therapists, coaches, healers, magic people, whatever you want to call them, wizards, Doctor Strange. Like I've talked to a lot of people in the spiritual coaching realm looking for guidance on these topics, and a lot of them did validate, like, no, you're doing fine. What you need to do is blah blah blah. None of them ever told me to sit with this. They always validated, like, no, like, your instincts are correct. Like, this shouldn't be happening to you. Like, you're a victim of this. They never said the word victim, but that was the energy that was transpired. So, I guess the importance of, like, if we're to tie this all together, the importance of having me sit with that trauma and then the lemon, I guess that would have been the impact of doing that, because most of the time I was either coached out of it or told that, like, no, like, this is, like, you shouldn't be going through this.
So you would say then you have yet to fully sit and be with the lemon, and then have other people sit with the lemon with you to help you feel like they're getting your lemon.
Yeah, I don't feel like that part has been seen.
That has been seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you've been in it by yourself, sort of, but you haven't been in it with someone. Being witnessed in that.
And that's where the trust thing comes
So
back to the trust
interesting.
thing, because, like, I wouldn't trust someone. I feel like people would just sit in it just because they're doing it, but like to actually understand, like, what is going on, that's, like, the challenge.
Yeah.
Because what I'm doing right now it starts to become complex after
Well,
a
most
certain point.
people, when they're suffering in any way, they're resisting where they're at, and they're trying to do anything they possibly can to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so, like, the possibility of being somewhere else is seducing.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get somewhere else when you're not fully present or where you actually are, because it keeps calling you back. It's like, this isn't resolved yet. This isn't healed.
Oh, AKA the reason why the conversation about lemons even comes up is because it hasn't been fully acknowledged and gotten.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the conversation about lemons usually doesn't come up
Exactly.
because it was already gotten.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the concept of being with somebody where they're at, not only do you create a bond of intimacy and understanding, but they also actually get to feel safe. They have company, and they can start to make sense of it. They go, oh, I'm not crazy for feeling this way or thinking this way. And now they can actually relax into their actual experience, even though it's been suffering.
Yeah.
Right? And they have company there, and they make sense of it. Now they feel it all the way fully. They let go of the resistance, and it's taken so much energy just to resist and just survive and fight it off, right? And now they don't have to do any of that. Whew, now, like, they can expand more fully into themselves, and then they get to the bottom of it, and usually somewhere around there or even below it, it's like their own wisdom. Right? And their own, this is my next step. and they access it themselves in a way that they couldn't possibly by somebody telling them this is what you should
Yeah.
do or could do or whatever. They have to finish what they started.
Mm-hmm.
Like they
Yes.
they call
Yes.
all those life lessons to them for a reason. And until like they discover the fullness of that reason, they're just going to keep recreating it.
And then sometimes in order for them to get, almost all the time I guess, in order for people to get to the point of unlocking that very bottom dwelling wisdom is the requirement of another human being to actually get the trauma, to get the lemons, to be there with them, with the feeling without trying to fix them.
I would say that's not always the case, but if it's still there and we're in relationship, then right now it's probably the case.
Probably a lot of, almost
Probably,
majority.
we're relational creatures, so
Probably, yeah,
it's probably
relational.
usually the case.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really well put. About that's a really good way to, I think, close out what just happened with the lemons, and that was really good. And I appreciate. I can't. I almost can't get over the difference between circling and coaching. I can't get over thinking about it because it's so fascinating. Almost everybody only coaches, and then even then. Almost nobody coaches, and then out of the few people that do coach, out of the only couple percent of people that do coach and know how to coach, probably of that same amount of percentage circles or like just gets people rather than tries to push them in the direction of coaching. So then there's that mind fuck that exists, and then if people actually got to the feeling of being gotten and sat with the lemons with other people, then they could get that wisdom to come true from within themselves, and then to move on and make it easier to move forward with what
And there is an aspect in the later stages that you get to in a circle. Once you sort of got down to the bottom of something, we call that the deep sea diver, and the birth of something new, but midwife. But in the getting there to the bottom of something, there is a place where, quote, some sort of coaching could happen. But usually, what happens is it arises organically as we're co-creating it together. It's not like I'm the coach and I say, okay, you need to have this experience so you can heal. So I'm going to guide you through it because, again, I have the wisdom. So it's like same thing as advice, right? Versus it's coming from our co-exploration. You go, wow, it seems like almost this wants to happen, or what do you think?
Empowering.
And that's then again, and it's coming from the joint wisdom and his wisdom, and that's powerful.
Yeah, transformation happens also in circling. It's just not through the forcing of fixing that happens in coaching.
It comes from the being with what is.
From being,
That's so cool.
Yeah.
and from being with what is, and just kind of letting it take a different shape.
Okay. Great job, guys.
Thank you.
Love.
Yeah.
Good job. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.